fellow idiots. This is Nick the Idiot. A couple of things right off the bat. I have glasses now. Never did have glasses, and then now I do. The eye doctor said that a normal person would have come in a decade ago with my prescription, and so I said thank you for putting me in the category of not normal right off the bat. There, my name's Nick, by the way. Anyway, but he was right. My eyes were really bad. He had a good eye. No. Okay, anyway, I'm not wearing a backpack. I'm wearing a kid. There she is. She's asleep. Her head lofts to the side. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't call anybody about it. That's for sure. Lastly, I have a cold sore right now. If I waited until I didn't have a cold sore, I might never get to film things. So I have one. And also, I was weed whacking the other day, and a rock came flying, and it hit the bridge of my nose, and I was bleeding a lot. And so now I have that. And so my wife said it looked like I got in a fight. I asked friends a while back what I should do an episode about. Many of them said adoption. So I drafted out a rough draft and recorded a rough draft version of an episode about adoption. I showed it to my best friend, Father Mike, and because I trust his opinion, he watched it and said, okay, it's good. You should chop that up and make it into 3 episodes, make it into a series. And he does series all the time, and I'm always thinking like, hey, how does he do so many series? It turns out he just talks a lot, and then he cuts it up. So thanks, Father. I'm going to talk a lot and cut it up. So maybe I'll make this one into a series as well. We'll do a series in a series. We'll go Inception style on it. So anyway, we're talking about adoption. Adoption is a big thing for us. We adopted back, so about 8 years ago now, 2012, we adopted 2 brothers. And then a year later, we adopted their sister. And when it first happened, it's magical, it's amazing, it's phenomenal. You can't believe it's happening. It's all this miracle. And then you get about 8 years down the road, and you're just like, clean your room. Okay. It's like, which is a good thing. It just became organic. It is just life. It's family life. But adoption got in the news recently because of the Chief Justice nomination. So that kind of sparked it and whatnot. So I wanted to I have a few thoughts. I'm going to take you guys through our process of adoption that we went through. But before I do that, I kind of wanted to this will be the only confrontational episode that I'll probably ever do. It's Minnesota nice. I'm not really an in-your-face type of person. I just wanted to start this off, though, specifically because I hear this all the time, and you might have heard this before, or you might have said it, or thought it, or heard somebody say it, or heard somebody think it. I don't know. But you'll hear people say, you call yourself pro-life, but you really only care about the baby before it's born. You don't really do much for children after the fact. And I hear that. You've probably heard that. It's a very common thing for people to say. And I just, here and now, I just need to I'm just going to call BS. That's it. I won't look you in the eye. I'll just duck down here and call BS. I hear people say it, and I understand why people say it. I understand that because it does. Pregnancy is 9 months. What about everything else after? So I get the accusation. It's just not founded on anything. We as Catholics, we believe in the dignity of human life from conception to natural death. From the moment of conception to the moment of natural death, we believe that life has dignity. It's funny because my dad, he has always said, that's how my dad talks, if I'm ever in a wheelchair, just kill me. And I'm always like, what? Absolutely not. That's when I'm going to get all my revenge, Dad. Come on. Everything that I want to do right now, but I can't because he's still 6'5" and muscular and faster and stronger than me. That's all out the window when you're in that wheelchair. I'm to the edge of stairs, to the edge of, I don't know, everything. I'm just going to do it. And you better believe I'm coming for you, Dad, but I'm patient. Anyway, that idea exists, though, like that, if somebody can't offer to society or whatever, they're not worthwhile. And if they're not wanted, they're worthwhile. I always talk about that. My mom had me when she was 17, and she didn't have me because she wanted me. I didn't have dignity because she wanted me. She wanted me because I had dignity. It's a complete different switch than our society says. And so when it comes to human life, we as Christians, adoption is written into our terminology. It's written into our very framework. Scripture says that we were adopted into the family of God, that we came from outside and we were adopted in. So it is intrinsically written into our belief system. I grew up in northern Minnesota, and I knew a ton of people who adopted. My wife grew up in Ohio. She grew up around people who had adopted. It is of the Christian mindset. And the reason that I can confidently call BS is because, if you go to adoption.org and they run stats on demographics of, who has adopted, what kind of people, ages, everything. Christians are over twice as likely to adopt than other adults. So, you have to be an adult to adopt. Out of all the adults who adopt, Christians are over twice as likely to do so. Could they do more? Yes, absolutely. Every one of us could do more, and I'm going to get to that. But in the meantime, to say that, Christians, you say this about this, but you don't this, actually double. Could we do more? Yes, but we still do more than others. Christians adopt more than non-Christians. And that's not like a competition thing. This is not me. It's just, this is close to me. This is on my heart. And I hear people say it, and they say it like they're proving a point, like they got a jab in. And they didn't. There's no jab. It's just unfounded. And it's not even an anger thing. It's just a thing that kind of rubs me raw. I just want people to not pass around lies in general, but when it comes to this especially. But then the second thing that I say is, if you hear that said, or if you hear that come across your own thoughts, the really important thing to do in any aspect of life is to first ask yourself, what do you do to help those who are born? And I'm saying this to like generic, not you, I mean, never you, but like the other you, the generic you. If you were to say to somebody, well, yeah, you care about this, but you don't care about all that, and you should, okay, absolutely, true. So what do you do? And again, even saying it, we're in such a culture right now that, oh, you're so judgy. Like, that's not judgy to ask a question, because I ask it of myself all the time. My wife and I ask it of ourselves. Have we done enough? And so every day we should be asking ourselves, or on a regular basis, we should be asking ourselves, well, okay, I do care about human life. What am I doing for human life? What am I doing for the humans that I know, the humans that come across my feed? What am I doing for my fellow humans? And again, not that then you can point the stick or whatever, or point the finger. I don't know, maybe you point a stick at somebody. I've never pointed it's just finger. You can point the finger at somebody after that, but before that, you just don't have any ground to stand on. And once you do, though, especially when it comes to adoption, once you do adopt, once you do open yourself to that, you find that you just don't ever judge people who adopt. You just don't ever. And it's like that with anything. It's like, once you've gone through something, you understand what it takes to go through it. And so you don't judge those people on the same scale. Well, before you do, because I believe after this series that you will be inclined to do more, even into adoption. But this series then, I would just encourage you. First of all, don't pass that. Don't believe the BS, but also don't pass it around. And second, though, for yourself, ask what you do and what are you open to do. So what I want to do with the rest of the podcast episodes about adoption, I'm going to tell you just how miraculous and how amazing our process was, how everything worked out and how it all went. Because it's a very intricate and expensive and time-consuming and daunting process. But the hope is that by the end of it, not that you know more about our kids or that you know about what we did, but that you will be hopefully, greatly, at least minimally, open to adopting yourself, doing the same thing with your life. Because if an idiot can do it, then you can too. Probably, or way better, not even probably. Give you that benefit of the doubt. You do it way better than me. So that's it. That's where we're going with this. My hope is that you are open to, and not just educated about adoption and how it's not what people think it is, and how it's way better and in a sentence easier, but also that you would just be more in tune to yourself and your willingness to be for those who are born then. That's what I like to do. So in the meantime, I'll see you next time. So have a good life. See you on the other side.